Imagine if there was a simple, totally free tool, like available to everyone, that could genuinely transform your mood, boost your energy, maybe even sharpen your focus, and all without a single pill or some expensive gadget, Today, we're doing a deep dive into something really powerful, but honestly often underestimated: the power of light. We'll explore how, deliberately using light exposure in your day can naturally enhance your mood and energy. We're drawing on some fascinating insights from health experts, scientific studies too. Our mission really is to unpack how light interacts with our bodies, our minds, and give you some actionable, totally zero-cost tools to, harness its power. Okay, so let's get into this. When most of us think about light, it's about seeing, isn't it? Helping us get around.
Right, vision.
But what we're exploring today, it sounds like it goes much, much deeper than just, perception.
Oh, absolutely. What's truly fascinating, I think, is just how foundational light's impact is on our entire physiology. It's really not just about enabling vision. It directly influences our mood. It orchestrates our sleep patterns, dictates our ability to wake up feeling refreshed and focused.
Yeah, that waking up part.
Exactly. Yeah. And it modulates hormone levels, fine-tunes our immune system, even affects how we cope with stress. And this isn't some brand new discovery either. It's kind of ancient wisdom.
Yeah.
Almost 3,000 years ago, Solomon wrote in Ecclesiastes, "Truly the light is sweet, and a pleasant thing it is for the eyes to behold the sun." That points to a really deep inherent connection,
Okay, so if it's doing all that more than just seeing, what kind of light are we specifically talking about here? Is all light created equal for this?
That's a great question. A critical player in this whole story is blue light. Now, blue light is simply a part of the visible light spectrum our eyes can perceive. It's got the shortest wavelength, and because of that, the highest energy within that visible spectrum. Naturally, the biggest source, the most powerful one, is sunlight itself. It's just packed with it.
Right, the sun.
But it's also really prevalent in many artificial sources we deal with every day. Think fluorescent lights, LED screens on TVs, computers, smartphones, tablets. Understanding that difference, natural versus artificial, is actually pretty key to using its power effectively.
Okay, this next bit I found really striking. Many health experts, they now consider viewing morning sunlight one of the top 5 actions you can take, like the top 5. For mental health, physical health, overall performance, that's a big statement.
It is a big statement, but the science backs it up. If we connect this to our daily rhythms, viewing sunlight within the first hour or so of waking, it's incredibly impactful.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker. It works, even if it's cloudy.
Really? Even through clouds?
Yet enough of the right wavelengths get through. What happens is, this specific light exposure triggers a healthy, early-day cortisol release. Now, cortisol often gets a bad rap, right? Stress hormone.
Definitely.
But that early morning spike is exactly what you want. It positively influences your immune system, it kickstarts your metabolism, enhances your ability to focus, and it doesn't stop there. This morning light also primes your body for deep, restorative sleep later that night. It does this by regulating your circadian clock, your body's master internal clock.
The body clock, right?
Exactly. And that clock manages way more than just sleep and wake. It handles hunger, body temperature, even cellular repair. So setting that clock right, first thing, you're basically optimizing your whole system for the next 24 hours.
That sounds amazing and actually quite simple. But, for someone with a packed morning or maybe living somewhere it's dark a lot, what are the absolute essentials? How do we actually do this?
It really is pretty straightforward, and consistency beats perfection here. On a bright, sunny morning, you're aiming for maybe 5 to 10 minutes outdoors.
Okay, 5 to 10.
If it's overcast, cloudy, you'll need a bit longer, maybe 15 to 20 minutes, to get that same effect because the intensity is lower. But the crucial part, and this is where people often slip up, is you have to be outside.
Ah, okay. Not through the window then.
No. Trying to do it through a windshield or a window just doesn't work well. Too many of those key wavelengths get filtered out by the glass. You can wear your contacts, your regular glasses, even ones with UV protection, that's fine. But, and this is important, avoid sunglasses or those blue blocker glasses during this specific morning time. You want the full spectrum hitting your eyes.
No sunglasses, got it. And how do we do it safely? Just stare at the sun?
Oh, definitely not stare. No.
Yeah.
Never look directly at the sun in a way that causes any pain or discomfort.
Yeah.
Protect your eyes. Just face generally toward it. You can close your eyes if you need to. Blink naturally. That's enough. And if you wake up and it's still dark out, before sunrise, flip on some bright indoor artificial lights first. Get your system going. Then as soon as the sun is actually up, get outside.
That brings up something important. We hear about light therapy, often for things like seasonal depression. Does this only really help if you have a mood disorder, or is this something genuinely beneficial for, well, everyone?
That's an excellent question. And the data is getting clearer and clearer. So yes, light treatment, phototherapy, it's incredibly effective for seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. Studies show morning light exposure, quite bright light, like 2,500 lux for a couple of hours, is really good for remission.
2,500 lux. What's that like?
Think of a very brightly lit office, maybe. Still less intense than direct sun, but bright. But, and this is the key part, it's not just for clinical conditions like SAD. There's a growing body of evidence suggesting it also has significant benefits for non-seasonal depression too. We've seen studies showing real reductions in depressive symptoms for patients with major depressive disorder, not linked to seasons. There was even one fascinating study. They found depressed inpatients in hospital rooms with lots of natural sunlight had significantly shorter stays.
Wow. Just the room they were in.
Exactly. Compared to those in darker rooms. It suggests just having that natural light access has a fundamental therapeutic impact on general well-being. It really is a powerful tool for everyone to optimize their state.
Okay, so we've got our morning sun sorted, our clock is set. How do we then use light to keep that energy and focus going through the day? Especially since, let's face it, most of us are indoors a lot.
Right. So during your waking hours, basically until mid-afternoon, the idea is to keep using bright light in your environment. This helps maintain the release of dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine.
The motivation molecules?
Precisely. Your brain's natural focus enhancers alertness signals. It keeps cortisol at optimal levels for being sharp and attentive. Ideally, if you can, position your desk near a window. Leveraging natural sunlight continuously is the best signal for your brain to stay alert. That dynamic natural light is just superior to static artificial light.
That makes sense for daytime. But what about our screens? Smartphones, computers, tablets, we spend so much time looking at them. Is the blue light from a screen the same as from the sun? Should we be worried?
That's a really crucial distinction to make. While the actual amount, the quantity of blue light from screens is much, much smaller than from the sun.
Okay.
There is growing concern about the long-term effects of this chronic artificial blue light, especially given how much screen time we log and how close we hold these devices. See, our eyes aren't great at blocking blue light naturally. Nearly all of it gets through the lens and reaches the retina at the back of the eye. And constant exposure over years could potentially damage those retinal cells. It might contribute to things like age-related macular degeneration, cataracts, maybe even some eye growths.
Wow, yeah.
And children are particularly vulnerable. Their eyes let even more blue light through. Plus, there's the immediate stuff.
We blink way less using devices.
Guilty.
We all are. And that leads directly to digital eye strain. Headaches, blurred vision, dry eyes, even neck and shoulder pain. It affects a surprisingly large chunk of people. Something like 27% to 35% of Americans report these symptoms. So what's the practical takeaway then? For someone like me, using screens all day for work, how can we cut down those negative effects without, giving up our jobs or phones?
Right, we need practical steps. First, use the blue light filters that are now built into most devices, phones, tablets, computers. Turn them on. They can block a good amount of that problematic blue light.
Okay, filters on.
Second, the 20-20-20 rule. You probably heard it. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. It helps your eye muscles relax.
Simple enough.
Third, manage your environment. Control the room lighting, reduce screen glare, check your posture and working distance. And importantly, make sure any vision issues are corrected properly. Finally, those blue light glasses everyone asks about. Look, the science isn't fully settled on long-term benefits, but many people do find they help with eye strain discomfort. They can help protect from that overexposure feeling and maybe help some people with sleep if worn in the evening. Even the generic ones might cut down negative effects by maybe 10% to 23% without messing up the screen quality too much. So they could be worth trading.
Okay, that's helpful for daytime. Now, as the day winds down towards bedtime, obviously our light exposure changes naturally. How should we change our approach to light to help our sleep and, well, our overall health in the evening?
Yeah, this is where you absolutely need to pivot your strategy. After about 8 or 9 p.m., and especially between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., actively avoiding bright lights is vital, particularly from artificial sources and screens.
Why is that window so critical?
Because that kind of blue light exposure at night can directly mess with your brain chemistry. It can actually decrease dopamine levels, which we link to mood and motivation, potentially worsening feelings of depression or anxiety. And maybe more critically, bright light powerfully shuts down melatonin production. That's the hormone that naturally rises to make you feel sleepy.
Right, melatonin.
If you keep interrupting your body's natural circadian rhythm with light at the wrong time, consistently, it can play a real role in developing serious long-term health problems. Things like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, even certain cancers, chronic sleep disorders, cognitive issues.
Okay, that's a serious warning. So practically speaking, what should we actually do with our lights as evening comes on?
Right, actionable steps. As late afternoon turns into evening, try to follow the sun's lead. As it gets darker outside, dim your environment inside. Turn off those bright overhead lights. Opt for lamps, softer, warmer lighting.
Warmer light, okay.
Definitely dim your computer screen.
Yeah.
Use those built-in night shift or red shift modes. And if you absolutely need light in the middle of the night, maybe getting up for the bathroom, checking on kids, try to use no light at all if possible. If you must have light, use something very dim and targeted, or specifically amber or red light. You know those inexpensive red party light bulbs? They actually work really well.
Red light bulbs.
Yeah, because those longer wavelengths have minimal impact on the cells in your eyes that signal your brain to suppress melatonin. I've heard from so many people who switch to using only red lights in their house around 9 p.m. They say it dramatically improves their sleep. Of course, turn everything off when it's actually time to sleep. And for really high-quality, deep sleep, your room needs to be dark as possible.
Not dark is dark enough.
Even dim light exposure during sleep, like from a glowing clock radio, or light leaking around curtains, can impair cardiometabolic function and actually increase insulin resistance overnight. So darkness is really your friend for deep rest.
You've covered mood, energy, sleep, which are huge. Are there any other, maybe more surprising benefits that strategic light exposure offers?
It is fascinating how holistically light affects us. For example, getting some afternoon sunlight directly on your skin, we're talking maybe 20 to 30 minutes wearing shorts and a t-shirt a few times a week, while obviously being careful not to burn, has actually been shown to increase testosterone and estrogen levels. It can boost mood, even enhance libido in both men and women.
Really? Just from sun on the skin?
Yeah, there are direct biochemical pathways. Sunlight triggers the production of certain compounds that contribute to these effects. It's quite a remarkable natural vitality boost.
This all sounds incredible, almost too good to be true sometimes. So many benefits from something so simple. But like with anything powerful, are there any downsides, any precautions we should absolutely be aware of?
That's a really important point to raise. While it's generally very safe for most people with minimal side effects, light therapy does carry a risk. It can potentially induce hypomania or even mania, especially in individuals who have bipolar disorder.
Ah, okay, that's crucial for some people.
Absolutely. So for anyone predisposed, close monitoring with a healthcare professional is definitely advised. There have even been some rare reports linking it to suicidal tendencies in vulnerable individuals, so caution is always necessary. Also, if you happen to be taking certain antidepressant drugs called photosensitizing drugs, medications that make your skin more sensitive to light, it's a really good idea to talk to your doctor about your light exposure habits. It could increase the risk of skin reactions.
Good to know.
And just as a side note on products, those light visors you sometimes see marketed, they haven't generally been found to be as effective as the traditional light boxes or, of course, just getting natural sunlight. So it's powerful, yes, but it's about smart, informed use. Our journey through all this really reveals a powerful truth, I think. Strategically incorporating daily light exposure is just such a potent, natural, and free tool for our well-being. Mental, physical, emotional. Morning light wakes us up, sets our clocks, primes us for focus. Daytime light keeps that energy going. And consciously managing our evening light prepares us for truly restorative sleep. It's just so much more than seeing. It's about leveraging this ancient, profound connection between light and life itself. Our bodies are just wired to respond to it.
That's a remarkable way to put it, that deep connection to the sun's ancient rhythms. So as you're listening and thinking about all this, maybe just consider, what's one small, simple shift you could make in your daily light habits starting today? Could it be just those 10 minutes of morning sun? Or maybe dimming your screens a bit earlier tonight? We invite you to think about that one step, because unlocking that profound boost to your own natural energy and mood, it might just be a light switch away.